I did a sales call recently with somebody who absolutely insisted that you could not have a profitable 20-hour week business. And in this video, I want to show you exactly how you can, because I've got the receipts to prove it. I'm Yasmin Vorajee. I'm the creator and author of Tiny Time Big Results, where I help experts turn their expertise into a profitable 20-hour week business. And I've been doing this for the last 14 years. So I feel like I've got some authority and credibility to be able to talk to you about this. So when I had this conversation with this lovely lady, and we were talking about her business, and I was explaining my methodology, my approach, my framework, which is all outlined in the Tiny Time Big Results book, which I'll post the link below. And she just looked at me and she went, no. And I was like, what do you mean, no? And she went, no, you can't. And I said, but I'm sitting here right in front of you, telling you it's possible. And she went, I couldn't possibly see how this could work in my business. And I said, yeah, but I'm here. I've done it. My clients have done it. I've got the testimonials, the reviews, to prove that this is possible. And she was just completely not convinced, right? And I'm not in the habit of convincing or persuading. I want you to see for yourself. And so what I want to do in this video is I want to break this down for you, because yes, on the surface, it might look like as if, how could you have a profitable 20-hour week business? If it was easy, then everybody would be doing it. And why are people, working long hours, etc., etc. And so here's the thing. My approach is different, because when I started my business back in 2012, my eldest was only a year old. I now have 3 kids, 3 under 16. And when he was in creche for 3 hours a day, that was my time for the business. And I've never had more time because I had more kids. And for me, it was about making the business work in the time that I had. So I've always had that time constraint, as in I didn't have a lot of time. But I realized over time that actually I don't need to have more time. I need to get far smarter with what I'm actually doing in the business. And so I want to talk about one specific aspect of this in this video, because this is actually probably the most important. The others are, critical as well. And there's a reason why this section in my book is the junkier section in the book, because this is an important principle, okay? So if you have a profitable 20-hour week business, then all 20 hours are not billable, right? They're not going to be client delivery. You've got marketing, you've got admin. Like if you're a solopreneur, everything is on your shoulders. You're the one doing all of the things. And so not all of that is going to be revenue generating. However, this is where the traditional approach falls down, because if you are trading time for money, then yeah, you have got a ceiling, you've got a cap on your income potential. And so absolutely, I can understand why she could not see how she could actually have a profitable 20-hour week business. Because in her model, she was a website designer. And so she was pouring all of herself and her time into designing these websites for her clients. So in her head, she was like, that takes me hours to do. However, I look at this differently. Okay. So in business, I want you to be thinking about where you're spending your time from a revenue generating perspective. And if you are trading time for money, then yeah, you're going to have a cap. You're not going to be able to make more money, because that means that you have to work more hours. And obviously, if it's a 20-hour week business, that feels like a contradiction. And it is a contradiction. However, if you flip this and actually think about exchanging value for money, now that's a whole different ballgame. That's a different conversation entirely. And I can tell you that I have worked with so many different industries over the years, the website designers, the chiropractors, the au pair agencies, the accountants, I'm going to struggle now to think of all of the people. Like, there have been so many varied industries. So this isn't just about one particular type of industry and it just fitting that one model. I've worked with a huge number of clients and a variety of business types and things. And what I will tell you is that you can absolutely create offers that leverage value instead of time, which means that you can earn more money, work fewer hours, and actually create the lifestyle that you're dreaming of. If you're like me, you've got kids, you've got other demands on your time, this is absolutely possible for you. But you've got to embrace the idea that you are going to actually exchange value instead of time. So what does that actually mean? You might be thinking, so how do I apply this in my business? So here's the way that I would suggest it to you. And of course, it's about figuring out what works for you and what's right for you in your business, the way that you want to work. I am not one of those people that says, one size fits all. That's not what this is about. But this is about just helping you to see that there's money hidden in your business. There is money hidden in your business right now that you are not unlocking, that you have not tapped its potential. And so one of the things that I like to do with my clients is find that hidden money in your business. And if you look below this description, in the description, you'll see that I have a 4-week intensive called Hidden Money. Click the link and you can find out more about how I can do this work with you. So let's go back to how you can actually apply this in your business. So a couple of things that you can do very, very easily, okay? And this requires you to be open to what I'm going to say, right? Because if I say something and you go, nope, that's not going to work, then you're not even, I want you to really see that this can actually be so transformative in your business. This has been a huge part of how I have been able to run my business, as well as raise the 3 kids, doing the school runs, the activities, and, the appointments and all of the stuff, right? So a couple of ways that I want to share with you that you can start thinking about how you can apply in your business immediately. So the first thing is, have you got a premium offer? So something that is worth, or like the most expensive offer in your suite of offers, okay? I typically class premium as anything above 1K. And stick with me on this one, because I want you to really just see, like, if your income goal was 5K a month and you're thinking, okay, I've got a 1K package, I need to sell 5 of those, rather than like absolutely killing yourself trying to get, sales of something that's like 100 quid, it makes it so much easier. And then you'll actually start to see how your time is spent differently. Okay. So one of the ways that you can absolutely trade value for money, is by creating premium packages. Now, this has actually been a great example of the 80-20 rule in my business. So 20% of my revenues, I always get this wrong. 80% of my revenues comes from 20% of my clients. And that's because I do charge a premium for one-on-one work and for my programs, because they are high value. And this is the key, right? When you're trading value for money, it has to be high value. And this is what I feel like a lot of people really struggle with in their business. It's because you haven't identified the highest value result, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is, you can absolutely create offers that take your expertise and you package them up and you create them once and you sell them again and again and again. So like a mini course, a masterclass, a proper course, there's different things that you can do there, right? So I'll give you an example. Like, I've created courses and masterclasses, many of them over the years, and I will still get sales notifications for something that I created like 8-10 years ago. And I'll be like, oh, that's cool. Where did that come from? Right. So that's another way. Now, a little caveat here. I'm not saying that these are all things that you're just going to be able to do immediately and overnight you're going to like just be like drowning in lots and lots of money and wading around like Duck McScrooge. Was it Uncle Scrooge? Well, I can't remember what his name was now. But anyway, DuckTales, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that these are the ways that you can absolutely create leverage in your business and blow the lid off your income potential, right? Another thing that you can do is create a leveraged program. So like a leveraged group program. So I have one in my business called Rich by Design. It's a 12-month program, but it's a program that people can join at different times. So it's not like a live cohort. But what that means is that I show up, I pour into this community, right? but it's not, I'm not kind of, it's not like my one-on-one time. So my one-on-one time is priced at a premium. Then my leverage group program is kind of like at the mid-level, if you like. And then I have other courses. But what I'm doing is I'm creating options for people to be able to come and work with me. And what I'm making sure that I'm doing as the creator of Tiny Time Big Results is making sure that they are leveraged, so that I am trading value for money, not time for money. So going back to the website designer, and she was like, no, this is absolutely insane. Couldn't possibly do it. This isn't going to work. And she was very adamant. And like I said, I'm not in the business of trying to convince anybody, but I've worked with website designers and I have created, or helped them to create rather, incredible results. So like my client Amy, where she actually reduced her workload by 7 times and increased her revenue by 4 times. And she was blown away by what this actually did in her business. So like I said, I've got the receipts to prove it. All right, my lovely, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this episode, this video, then I want you to like, I want you to subscribe, and please share as well, because other people need to know about this. And check out the links below that I've mentioned in the video, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. Take care.